Hi, my name is Lindy Cowling and welcome to my channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk, email info@lindycowling.co.uk, and the title of this video this evening is December Energy Broadcast Predictions for 2018. December Energy Broadcast Predictions for 2018. So this is going to be pretty much, again, from the heart, instinctive and off the cuff predictions for where the energies really are ending this year, but not really ending, going on to a continuation of 2018. There isn't a clear cut-off where, you just hit the end of 2017 and there's just a line in the sand and that's it. I see it very much as a continuation of some of the themes that have been ongoing in 2017, but an expansion of them. So let's start at the top and work our way down. So let's start on the personal side of it first for people. The individual side of it, then the collective. So personally, as consciousness is expanding on the planet, as people's awakening is expanding on the planet, that creates a micro change within. So all those little pockets of micro changes within cause macro changes outside the individual, but also collectively across the planet, globally. But it's those little pockets of change, those little explosions of inner consciousness, inner awareness, inner expansion, in that transition from the portal of the heart into the, let's say, the upper areas of consciousness, the portal of the heart beginning at the minimum 5-dimensional level and going all the way up, right the way up through the dimensions. I don't see that process lessening. I see it speeding up, and I see it speeding up considerably. Why? Because those that are already on that fast track system of becoming conscious, that energy is very fast moving. It's the energy of creation. It's the energy of co-creation, creation. It's a 0-point field of energy where you are continually creating in each moment, and it's very, very fast moving and very responsive as an energy. So where it has been a small minority of the global population starting to awaken to consciousness on that kind of level without having to come the long way round or the old way round, or clearing the old trajectory and the old karmic energies and the old baggage and the old soul energies before they transition, and that is still going on. What I'm expecting to see, which has been backed up by what I've been seeing in the last few months, is a massive increase in the amount of people, let's say, coming online to who they truly are, coming online to the real being that they are, the authentic them, and their starting point being pretty much on the way to becoming fully conscious. I'm seeing that already. Definitely in the last few months, there's been an increase in that. I expect it to increase significantly, which is fantastic news for everybody, because the more conscious, authentic, genuine, compassionate, loving people, loving beings there are on this planet, the more that frequency is coming out from them. It's knocking onto the collective, it's knocking onto the whole, and everybody benefits from that. The whole of the planet, the consciousness of the planet, and the consciousness of the people on it. As I've always said, always maintained, and pretty much probably always will maintain unless there's a miracle there, you will not be getting every member of the public, every person on this planet becoming fully conscious. That is not everybody's soul plan. The opportunity is open to all and to everybody, but not everybody is going to choose that path. Not everybody is going to do that. And I've maintained that from the off, and I have not seen a change in that trajectory. So there will be a percentage even at the final outcome, and the final outcome will not be in 2018. This is an unfoldment that's going on for a period of years, and I've been saying I see it between 5 and 15 years for the complete transformation and transition across the board, right across globally of, of the planet. So there will always be a percentage that don't choose to jump on board that boat or that plane or that train of becoming authentic and their true selves, and they won't be doing it this time round, or choosing to do it this time round, whether they choose to do it in another timeline or another incarnation, I'm not sure. But the end result will be a population or a humanity, global population of people that are authentic, aware, no longer caught up in any programming or belief systems, self-empowered, and the ultimate outcome being an amazing society, an amazing country, an amazing world, an amazing planet to live on and be part of. So I see all of that increasing. So micro and macro, inner change for people, outer change for people. The golden word I am going to use for 2018 is transformation. A year of transformation. I see that as a year of transformation for us all personally. The micro always comes before the macro, the inner before the outer, but also globally. So as a result of change, the golden word change, again, we as human beings are most resistant to change. We do like our security. We do like our perceived idea of control. We do like our perceived idea of being the masters of our own reality. And there are two sides to that coin. There is a master of your own reality coming from that co-creative heart portal of forming life as life with life from the heart as a creator. But there is also the one I'm referencing here at the moment is the brain trying to control reality, simply coming from a fear-based perspective of if I control everything, then I can't be hurt or I can be safe. So there is a kind of duality thing going on there. And again, nothing's gone wrong. That's part of the transition from the head running the show to the heart, the embodiment of heart authenticity. So a flip side of all this, transformation has to be change. You cannot have transformation without change. Just think of the word. It's a transformation, globally and individually. So this is already happening in houses up and down the country, up and down in all countries of the world, all over the planet. But I see that increasing significantly. Now, there are going to be different aspects to that. If we look at the polarized form of that change, some people are going to feel it more than others, depending on how unconscious they are individually, and also what circumstances they are in, or they were born in, or the blood families or the soul families they were born in, whether they are transforming individually or for the families or for the collective. And I brought out a video just a couple of videos back saying I'd noticed a change there as well, that more and more people are now, whether they realize it or not, going through a process where they are serving humanity as a whole as well. So that act of service thing seems to be a knock-on thing. If you are, let's say, wired into a template that is humanity or humanitarian orientated, clearing for the collective on a significant level, it seems to be slightly more challenging and slightly more slower, because you're not just transforming for you, you're transforming for the collective. At the same time, I'm going to make the point again, anyone who's transforming within themselves, that is going to benefit the collective, because anyone who goes up a gear into their authentic self, into a 0 point field of energy, is helping the collective. I keep using the same reference point here. It's like stitches in a tapestry, all stitches in the same overall tapestry there. So it's helping everybody. As a result of those changes, I feel politically big shifts to come. I'm not going to just narrow it down to the country I'm living in at the moment, which is the United Kingdom. I'm going to say globally, there is an awful lot of stuff bubbling away under the surface there that is not known to the general public, and that will start to gradually come out. I can't give you specific predictions on that because it's fluctuating and moving. So it's fluctuating and moving, and I can't give you specific time on that, but we are entering a period of time where, well, you know, hold on to your hats, really. I see that period of time it's been building for many years, not just in 2018. I see that running on for the next few years, to be honest, into the early 2020s, because transformation, yes, it can be fast, but sometimes it takes a while, especially for these big systems, the truth of what's going on underneath these big systems to come out. Some of those truths, I'm not going to go into details, some of those truths will not be a very pleasant reality to swallow, but part of transformation is learning the truth of situations and the truth of structures so that one can transform them and the consciousness can be transformed so that you have something far better for everybody in place. So that I see changes kind of politically, globally. People are very worried at the moment about a third world war scenario. We've come very close to that point at intersection points and crossover node points in timelines before. Personally, I'm not having any red flags about a third world war. I think there's plenty of warmongering going on and plenty of beating that drum on a political and global scale, because there is great benefits to taking a society into war, especially if you're running a genocide program. And there's great money to be made out of war and great control and great profits for the elite few. Do I have a gut feeling that we're going to come into a war, third world war? I don't. We did come close to that point a few times in the last few years, very close actually, close enough for me to be wondering. But despite all the, let's say, warmongering predictions and whipping up a storm going on with certain countries at the moment, I don't feel that's a very real threat. A lot of it, personally, I think a lot of it is propaganda. So I'm not predicting that a war, third world war, is coming imminently, now or 2018. I do predict more inflammatory events, some of those being false flag events, some of them being genuine events. Globally, I'm not going to use the word terrorism because some of those events may not be what they seem, but at the end result is still innocent civilians losing their lives. So I do predict pockets of that kind of thing continuing. Really, across the board, I would say that no institution or structure, let's say, is safe from transformation. We are seeing some of these things and the truth of what's been going on, since time immemorial in the entertainment industry. We're only seeing it mainly on the actors' side of it, the truth coming out behind lots of the sexual abuse that's going on there. We're not really hearing anything. Well, not even the half of it really, and we're certainly not hearing it about the rest of the entertainment industry, like singers and that side of it yet. I'm sure that's going to come out massively too within the next year or so. Global earthquakes, tsunamis, There has been fluctuations in that for quite some time. I do see an increase in that. I see an increase in extreme weather. I'm going to not go too far down the route of why that is. Some of it is natural. Some of it is Mother Earth transforming. Not all of it is natural. Some of it is interfered with, through geophysical weapons of war, weather manipulation. Earthquakes can be triggered, just, on purpose, intentionally, so can tsunamis. I've known about that for something like 21 years. So I'm not going to go down the route of why there's an increase. It's a combination of things, some man-made, some not man-made, some natural. But again, the end result being a loss of life. I do see some truths and realities coming out in another way as well, where we have, let's say, in the Western world, and I can only speak for the Western world because I come from the Western world in this timeline at the moment, there being truths and realities coming out as to where we've been turning a blind eye to things that we shouldn't have been turning a blind eye to. That's whether we're not helping those most at need within our own countries, whether we're not really waking up to the reality of money really being a control system that keeps millions in a state of control by the elite few, and many people lose their life to it, really. There's going to be great truths and realizations about that, and I suspect people will feel very disappointed, shocked, angry, all the emotions that come up with that, but it's all part of the transformation to change, really. Just stupid, crazy things I could say off the top of my head, that something like, I can't remember how many billion they're talking about, is it 50 or 60 billion they're going to magically come up with in our country to buy us out of the European Union, when people are dying every day of the week here, homeless on the street. People are getting thrown out of their homes. The mortality rate is increasing significantly. People are dying now more than they've died before. And most of that is on the excuse there being no money, and yet really they just press a button and then the money's there. The reality of that almost makes me burst out laughing. It's like a game of Monopoly, really. Nobody needs to starve or die of poverty in any country in the world anymore. That sounds naive, but that's the truth of it. The money thing is almost like a big game, really, and yet millions of people have learned, lose their lives to it. So I think these are the kind of awakenings people are going to be having, saying, hang on a minute, how is that possible, and why is that happening, and how can the money magically be there for this but not be there for hospitals, or to get people off the streets, or to home people, or clothe people, or save people's lives, or for the NHS to medically save people's lives. So there's those truths coming up, and kind of like people wanting to make change, and then understanding why it is that way, but why is it that way, and why is that acceptable, really? So it's those inner realizations, the micro and the macro, really. When I track back to weather as well, I'm expecting there to be more extreme weather events. So I've covered sort of earthquakes, tsunamis, things like that, man-made and other. That means Earth, getting herself moving about and readjusting and realigning. What I would say is also weather patterns, extreme weather still increasing, and there's been quite a long pattern of that significantly. It's not a new thing, but I see that still kind of increasing there. So like I say, you'll notice the way I'm doing this is kind of very kind of like laid back, not kind of blasé, but kind of very laid back and natural about it, because I have to be honest, there's a lot of it is fluctuating, and the reason it's fluctuating is because we are literally changing our reality every single second, not just individually, but collectively. So if enough individuals perceive a certain reality, that reality will come into form, which is why if you're continually brainwashed by media or radio or television to perceive your world in a certain way, that is the world that you will live in, and not only perceive, but you will live in. personally and globally. So it's fluctuating. And the things I'm saying here, they are not negative, fear mongering things. This is natural transformation, and transformation always means change. It always means change. I do see 2018 as being the year of transformation, so I'm going to name that as the year of transformation. And it's been a long time coming, so a lot of us are very kind of relieved that that is the case. And like I say, when I'm saying the year of transformation, it is individually but also collectively. So I could almost say to you, not in a fearful way, but not in a way, I was going to say be prepared, but not again in a fearful way. Don't be surprised would be more accurate. Don't be surprised in whatever quite shocking revelations come out of a number of camps over the next year or so. Let's say even ground, almost hallowed ground that you would have felt would be the last place you would hear any of that from. Whether these are religious, I mean, we know coming from religions, whether it's coming from the entertainment industry, governments, society structures, paedophile networks, you know, being revealed to go right up to the top. And I mean right up to the top. Shocking revelations coming out like that. Another angle to look at this is it all ties into people's belief systems. The world that you live in, that we live in, is all entirely dictated by what you believe and your belief systems, and what those belief systems carry a vibration which creates your reality or our reality. So that's why I don't look at these things that I'm saying negatively that I'm talking about, because in order to change the vibration and the frequency and the reality, one has to discover for themselves, within themselves, the authentic truth within them and outside of them, in order for those frequencies to change, those vibrations to change, and those realities to change. Because the reality is, at the end of the day, we can go down the route of saying, well, this is all a big fat dream and we're creating as we go along and it's a big hologram. And some of those elements I will agree with. But it doesn't feel like that when you're living it. If your leg is amputated, you can feel the pain of your leg amputated, both when it's amputated and actually when it has been amputated, when it's not there any longer. The reality is there are people suffering in their millions, and there are people dying in their millions, and there are millions, billions actually turning a blind eye to that because they don't feel it affects them in their direct reality. It doesn't affect them going to work 9 till 5 or putting their, getting their shopping at the store. It doesn't affect their everyday normal, let's say, life, and so they forget about it and they almost push that out of their reality. So it's a balancing act, because many of us, in this line and in this industry, especially to do the light worker industry, and I really don't like that term, but it's the only way to say it and explain it at the moment, are very empathic and compassionate and want to help everyone, help everyone, save everyone. It's just a natural instinct, really. And you can get overwhelmed and swamped by that. So what I would say again is how really global change is made, and even how these predictions are changed and how transformation is eased, is by that inner change within us first, and then that knocking onto the outer change, because the inner change changes your frequency and vibration, which changes your reality, which, as a stitch in the tapestry of life, in the tapestry of earth, changes the earth reality. So to summarize, because I don't want to go on too long here, 2018 is all about transformation. It's about really living it, transformation into the authentic you. Authentic, not just temporarily or once a week or just for 20 minutes every day if you meditate or tune in. I mean authentic 24/7, the embodiment of it, living, breathing it. You are what it says on the tin, as I like to say. That's the year that we're coming into, and I think there will be some shocks in that year, and I don't say that to scare anyone. I think there will be some shocks. But keep reminding yourself it's all about the transformation. It's all about the transformation. There's a saying, isn't there? The waves on the beach, you know, before they surge back up the sand, they have to pull back quite a bit. They go back quite a long way before they surge forward. There's going to be elements of that where you feel that you're going retrograde or the world is going retrograde. I mean, really, when you look at it from a linear point of view, it's a world gone mad. Nothing happening here that we didn't know was going to be happening 21 years ago even. It's all about transformation and truth. And like I said in the video or two back, sometimes people have to be pushed individually and collectively so far until they say, look, there has to be a better way, or there has to be a way out of this suffering for other people or for ourselves. And that's just the nature of the polarized, planet that we've been living on. So just to summarize again, political change, social change, no industry or structure is going to be immune to these kind of being under the magnifying glass. I think there are going to be some shocks in there. I don't see World War III being one of them. I honestly don't. We did come close to that a few times. I think the nodes and the intersection points were close. Not at the moment, but there is a lot of banging onto that drum to create more fear and apprehension so people don't hit their vibration or optimal frequency. Weather patterns still pretty haywire. Some of that man-made, some of that not, some of it natural, some of it man-made. Changes, I say, in earthquake patterns, in volcanic eruptions, in tsunami activity. Again, I'm going to say some of this is deliberate through the technology they have to do this. Some of it is not deliberate and it's Mother Earth adjusting. There's a number of things going on, and I won't go too down that route now because it's not the purpose of this to say who's doing what, where and how, and I don't have all the answers to that. All I can say is the overall picture here is transformation. Absolutely nothing has gone wrong in the global Earth highest timeline, 0. And in fact, we are on collectively the global Earth highest timeline at the moment. Sometimes it fluctuates a bit, but we are at the moment, as unbelievable as it may be, with certain things going on in the world and certain leaders in place and certain situations. I can tell you now, all of those actually are in alignment with the highest outcome at the moment, which is great news. So wherever you're at in this melting pot here, remember that you're not alone and that everybody is going through this. It will affect people differently depending on what their perception is and their consciousness is. Someone who is unconscious, their reality is real to them as my reality is to me, for example, or your reality to you. It's your rate perception and vibration and frequency. Again, it's not that they're less than or we're more than or I'm more than or they're less than or whatever way you want to look at it. We all lapse into unconsciousness. We've all been unconscious and we're all moving along these same kind of trajectories into becoming fully authentic. So I'm just sort of scanning here, scanning to see if I've missed anything on those predictions for 2018. I don't feel I have. I feel that that's pretty much it. So wherever you are in your transformation, like I say, cut yourself some slack. Reassure yourself again that things are on track, and I'll love you and leave you. I'll probably bring another video out within the next few days because I already know what that's going to be, very different again. So thanks for watching the channel as always. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for contributing to the channel in any way that you have done or you are doing or that you will do. And I'll see you guys again soon. Thank you. Bye. Bye.